Good evening. Hope you're all having a good day or something. Think that sounds about right. Um, yeah, I'm ready. We're gonna go into part two of the investigation for case 5. Um, Based on the end of last time, that means we might actually get to start looking into what happened to McGilded. And there was already something very intriguing in the evidence from last time, which it was just the time at which the item was turned in was on a 30-minute interval, which lines up with the cameras. But we've got lots more pieces to put together here, so let me switch over to the game. And it's okay. We're good. It is working. But yeah, so I figured it out. The problem with my PC is that Intel i9s have a known crashing issue at the moment. Um so there's not really anything I can do besides we can pray to my CPU and maybe offer it some snacks to keep motivated to work for the whole stream. So if it crashes, I'll be back live again in a couple minutes because it doesn't take me that long to reset it. 15th of April, Baker Street. See, that's why I hate grown-ups. All they do is feed you a pack of lies and take stuff away from ya. Oh, really, Miss Lestrade? Tell me, is that overcoat keeping you warm? What? Oh my, surely you were given that. Yeah, the D let me keep it after I looked daggers at him for long enough. He went through the pockets and he said, "Go on then, have it," before telling me to scamper. Always pays off, giving people a look like you ate 'em. I can't help feeling that it's going to get you into serious trouble one day. What I really wanted was that nice, shiny disc of mine. The music box disc. But Mr. Windibank said it was practically worthless. I think I'm gonna go and have another bash. Give him a long, hard stare. I think not, Miss Lestrade. We shan't enter Windibanks again today. Why not? That's not fair. It can't be helped, I'm afraid. The police are investigating the scene now and taking a statement from Mr. Windibank. But that disc's mine. I had the ticket for this coat and it was in the coat's pocket. And there should be something else and all. That's what that rotten cove said, ain't it? Yes, he did mention something about another article, didn't he? Well then, that's mine too, whatever it is. Now she's really pushing her luck. Miss Lestrade, I think it's time to admit defeat. You've had your haul for the day. Yeah, and it's all your fault, Sholmes. So, What are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening? Eh? Wait 1 second. I think I left my phone somewhere else. I need to make sure it's under control. Okay, my phone is under control now. Iris would be delighted to cook, I'm sure. And I might entertain you with a modest violin recital. Nata. Oh. Why would I come round to your place, eh? Have you lost your head or something? Oh dear, she's gone. Having reviled on me quite unnecessarily, I might add. I can't help wondering if perhaps she might turn up anyway. Interesting. Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come. Very well then. I'll inform Iris to set a plate for a potential guest at the dinner table this evening. And one more thing. I should be glad of your company later too. Sorry? I believe I will have a rather splendid surprise to show you. Oh, how exciting! What is it? You shall have to wait and see, Miss Susato. Until later then. Yep. We're out here now. I guess that means we can just head up to Sholmes' suite again. April 15th, 3:46 p.m. Sholmes' suite. Ah, Susie and Runo, come in, come in. Good afternoon, Iris. Thank you so much for breakfast this morning. Oh, don't mention it. Goodness, look at the time already. Busy as always? I am. I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening. Already? You're obviously cooking something special, are you? Oh yes, after all, we have a special guest joining us. Guess who it is? Go on. You'll never guess. Look at those little eyes of hers shining. Oh dear. It is awkward when you already know the answer, isn't it? It's Ginny. Ginny, isn't that exciting? Oh, what a surprise. Yes, that's wonderful news. Wow, Iris seems overjoyed at the idea. I can't wait to learn some pickpocketing tips from a real professional. Oh yes, that does sound like fun. I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate. Are you, Mr. Naruhodo? By the way, Iris, what's Mr. Sholmes up to? Hurley? Oh, he's been like that ever since he got back. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. I beg that you won't speak to me. Sorry? I don't know who you are, but kindly take your leave. As you can see, I'm not here. I don't know how to respond to that. I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything. Yes, I see. Really, he behaves just like a child sometimes. Hurley does. Mr. Sholmes and Iris have something of a parent and child relationship, don't they? Yes, except for Iris is clearly the parent here. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are. What's the matter, Runo? You have ever such a funny look on your face. Oh, no, it's nothing. I know what it is. Why does this girl live here with Mr. Sholmes, you're wondering? Am I right? How did you... Oh, Runo, I can read you like a book. This girl is dangerous. Don't worry, you can ask me anything. I won't mind. Okay. Why does Iris live here? Ginny first. So, by Ginny, you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from the McGilded case 2 months ago, right? Yes, who also stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Although, after that trial, I invited her back here and we had dinner together. And now we're the best of friends. Oh, what a lovely tale. Yes, now if I bump into her on the street, she runs away as fast as she can. Oh. And I chase her down in the back alleys. Interesting idea of friendship. And then I let her have the latest color of smoke grenade I've developed. Oh. There are so many beautiful colors in the world. Ginny wants me to make a whole rainbow. I suppose this means you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, have you? Yes, that's right. I'd get bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacts the same way when I shoot him with it now. Poor Hurley. Oh, I can't wait for Ginny to arrive. It's been too long since she last came over. I'm so excited. I just hope she actually does come. I'm sure you've been wondering why it is that I live here with Hurley, haven't you? Well, it has crossed my mind. That and where are your real parents? My mummy and daddy aren't with me anymore. Mummy passed away when I was born, and at around the same time, my father, well, he had to go to a faraway land because of one of the cases he and Hurley were working on. Oh, wait a minute. Did you say he and Hurley? Yes. Daddy and Hurley were always solving mysterious cases together. She didn't mention that before. He wrote them all up in his diaries. That's what's in the metal chest over there. Oh, really? He recorded them all? So, you mean it's true? Mr. Sholmes really did have a partner with whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases? Oh, yes. I mean, it's always nice to have one, isn't it? So, Mr. Sholmes' partner was your father? Exactly. Hurley told me I wasn't allowed to look in the chest. But that only made me want to look even more, so I opened it up. And found your father's memoirs. Yes, so I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He nearly fell off of his chair. But then he told me. That's when I found out the author of all of those accounts was my father. So Iris's father was Mr. Sholmes' partner. I've practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So it came as quite a shock when Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy. I mean, it must have done. I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you, and at such a young age. Hurley says it's because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me. Oh. Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, you might say that his ways have rubbed off on me. There are some things I can just see. Especially lies. I almost know when people are lying before they open their mouths, sometimes. Right. Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diaries. That's what inspired me to write The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, actually. I'd always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all those thrilling stories. Oh no, Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything as soon as he's solved a case. It all but vanishes from his mind. Oh, I see. The other day, it was so embarrassing. As usual, he totally forgot about the case he'd just solved. So the very next day, he gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. It was quite a shock for everyone. You can say that again. You share your father's surname, don't you, Iris? That's right, Wilson. Daddy is Dr. John H. Wilson. I learned from his diaries that he's a doctor of medicine, you see. That's what prompted me to study and study so that I could earn a doctorate as well. Iris's father, who went to some distant land and is a doctor by the name of John H. Wilson. The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. That's right. Visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. And the man who, in the most bizarre of circumstances, lost his life just before we left Japan. Miss Susato. Yes. Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at this time. I think that would be for the best. Ah, my dear fellows, how good to see you. Mr. Sholmes. Why ever did you not make your presence known to me before? Well, no matter now. So, how the devil are you? We've been with you for most of the day. Goodness, really? Do tell me, Mr. Sholmes, is your violin unscathed? My violin? Whatever are you talking about, dear madam? Oh, never mind that now. I have something far more interesting to show you. Behold, my dear fellows. Oh, another music box disc. No, not another disc, Miss Susato. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence, Mr. McGilded's disc. Oh my. Then what's it doing here? You know, at times, Mr. Naruhodo, I think that though I have an undeniable turn for detection, I may well be even more adept at larceny. Oh, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'd be your pickpocketing assistant. And Runo could be our go-to lawyer if we ever got caught. Right. I love how caught up on the idea of learning to pickpocket she is. Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting. She could write all of our menacing crime notifications. Yes, I'd be delighted. I'm just going to pretend this conversation never happened, I think. The music box disc. I don't understand. How did that disc come to be in your possession? I thought Inspector Gregson took it back to Scotland Yard. Quite correct. And that sort of uncompromising attitude is precisely why I always carry some of this. Sholmes's caramel. That's a bar of caramel, Mr. Sholmes. Your one and only friend in times of loneliness, if I'm not mistaken. If you will humor me, my dear fellows, cast your minds back to when the good detective confiscated the disc. I'll be taking that, whatever it is of McGilded's, down to the yard. Thank you very much. So hand it over. Oh yes, of course. If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. For the briefest of moments, I had the disc in my hand, did I not? Yes, you did, but I still don't understand. Did he make an impression of the disc on the caramel and then reproduce it? It was precisely at that moment that I summoned my one and only friend. Sorry. I can't. He's just casually continuing without a surgeon. The Carvel is his only friend. No, Mr. Schultz. Okay, I gotta retake that line. It was precisely at that moment that I summoned my one and only friend into action. I pressed the disc into a pair of bars like this. That's amazing. The disc and all of the minuscule protrusions have made an image in the caramel. Indeed, this caramel is quite exceptional. I developed it myself, you know. Suitably soft for making impressions, but resistant to melting, the result of a precisely controlled solution. How extraordinary. Carrying a pair of these on one's person frequently proves very useful indeed. Take a house key, for example. A simple press and its unique form is duplicated. I can enter anyone's property at will, and never without high sucrose nourishment. Yes, it sounds illegal. From the image, I was able to create this. I confess I was most curious to know what manner of music would issue from the disc when played. The music on the disc. Do tell us then, Mr. Sholmes, what music does the disc play? Well, unfortunately, I have no idea. No idea? None whatsoever. Are you familiar with the workings of a music box, my dear fellows? No, I'm afraid not. Goodness, you don't know, Runo. The inside of a music box, there's a inside a music box, there's a special metal piece called a comb. That's what produces the sound. Small protuberances pluck the different teeth on the comb as they rotate past it, making the different notes. The first music boxes to be invented using a rotating cylinder, er, the first music boxes to be invented used a rotating cylinder with protuberances on it. But over time, a new type of player was produced, one which uses discs such as these. With that development, the popularity of music boxes spread far and wide, all around the globe. Why exactly? Because the discs are easy to produce and can be interchanged to facilitate the playing of different tunes. There are a great many firms in Europe now manufacturing music boxes as a result. It is it is wonderful to be able to enjoy music even when no performer is present. But it is the very success of the invention that means we are now presented with an insurmountable problem. What do you mean? As you may imagine, the construction of one firm's music box does not match that of another. And we have no way of knowing in which music box this particular disc was designed to be played. There is no resolution to that problem, I'm afraid. It's quite intractable. Ah, I see. So that's why. Naturally, I tested the disc in those few music boxes I have at my disposal. But, as you can hear, to no avail. The results were equally unsatisfactory in this one. So, I am presently engaged in acquiring an example of all the music boxes ever made in Europe. E- every single one. That's Hurley for you. Always taking things too far. But, my dear girl, an unsolved riddle is quite repugnant to my constitution. But surely all the different types in Europe will amount to a huge volume of music boxes, won't it? Yes, that is certainly true. In the worst case. I shall just have to ask you to vacate the attic room. What? He's gonna kick us out to store music discs. Well, music boxes in the attic. That's quite good. Magnus McGilded. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear again so soon. Yes, it's only been 2 months since that grisly case. Mr. McGilded perished within hours of the trial's conclusion. Was it the curse of the Reaper? No one knows. Still now. The omnibus was reduced to a pile of ash. Not a shred of evidence remained. And with that man's death, the truth about the murder in which he was so intimately involved was buried. Even though we successfully established Mr. McGilded's innocence in the trial, the newspapers are still claiming that it remains an unsolved case. The murder of the brick maker, Mr. Thrice Fired Mason. In the end, the truth of the matter remains a mystery. We still have no idea what really happened that night. And although Mr. McGilded was found not guilty through my defense, I still don't know if that was the right judgment or not. It would appear the case is not yet closed. Well, it's time I started getting things ready for dinner, I think. Ginny will be here before long. Thank you, Iris. Oh, well, you must let me help you then. Of course, Susie. There's plenty to do. Real Matt on guard, thank you for the follow. I think I shall investigate the condition of my faithful performing partner. Now then, where did I leave it? Let that be a lesson to you, Mr. Sholmes. Never leave anything too precious with the pawnbroker. Yes, you may be right. Oh, that reminds me of something Mr. Windibank said before. He said that he had a manuscript of irises in pawn, didn't he? Did he? Yes, he definitely mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom, were his words, I believe. So, you heard about that, did you? I expect you were as incensed as I was. Oh, yes. The idea of such a wonderful story languishing in Mr. Windibank's storeroom, gathering dust. My dear madam, I'm quite sure I told you already. The pawnbroker's storeroom is the safest place for it, more secure than a bank's vault. And what about your Stradivarius, Hurley? Was that safe and secure? Well, there may be the occasional mix-up caused by a certain impetuous someone not too far from me now. Do you have any idea how long it took me to write that Baskerville story, Hurley? Oh, it sounds so exciting. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. Ah, what's going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just swept through the room? Susie, what did you just say? Um, you said the Hound of the Baskervilles. But how could you know the full title? Well, uh, that's... that's because Miss Susato is such a great fan of all the stories about Mr. Sholmes, of course. But Runo, the Hound of the Baskervilles, has never been published. Oh, what? When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me that I wasn't allowed to publish it yet. I don't understand. That's why he said that he'd keep it safe until it was the right time for the story to be made public, you see. So that's why the manuscript is at Windibank's? And yet, how could Susie here know its title? Well, Hurley, what's going on? Ah, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? It would appear that our guest has arrived. Miss Lestrade. This was a bad idea. I knew I weren't welcome. I'm going. No, wait, Miss Lestrade. We've all been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris? Oh, yes. Just wait there, Ginny. We'll have everything ready in a jiffy. Come along, Susie. Right, of course. It's a pleasure to see you here, Miss Lestrade. Please make yourself at home. Don't stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. What say you, some Mendelssohn? I won't take no for an answer. Meddlesome it is, then. Yay, the cat! Meow. Hi, Wagga, hi. That evening, Iris prepared us all a meal that was even more delicious than usual. Mr. Sholmes's violin performance was in no way meddlesome. And Gina, as we came to call her, taught us how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves well into the night. April 15th, 9:34 p.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. That was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it? Oh, yes. Iris's cooking was truly divine. And I feel as though I can still hear the enchanting strains of Mr. Sholmes's violin, even now. Best of all, I bet I could steal the glasses from his lordship's face next time we're in court. Naruhodo-san, could I consult with you about something, I wonder? What's the matter, Susato-san? It's about the telegram I received. Ah, the one that arrived first thing this morning, I suppose. I've been summoned. What? Summoned? What do you mean? The telegram was from the Lord Chief Justice's office. Lord Strongheart has asked to see me. The Lord Chief Justice? When? Tomorrow morning. What? Then we have to start preparing at once. Oh, no, that won't be necessary. Naruhodo-san. I've been summoned alone. Alone? What on earth for? I have no idea. I suppose I shall find out tomorrow. What's all this about? Whatever it is, it's making me feel very uneasy. Oh, who could that be, I wonder? Good evening, friends. Ah, Iris, hello again. And Gina, too. Yes, Ginny's going to stay with us tonight. She's going to sleep in with me. Isn't that right, Ginny? Well, yeah. How lovely. Let me make a pot of tea. You know, I've learned so much today. Oh, what in particular? All those things Ginny showed us. Wasn't it wonderful? Ah, you mean all those pickpocketing techniques? We did have fun trying them out on each other, didn't we? I think I've awakened a natural talent. I could earn a living from it. You might be getting ahead of yourself a little there. So, what brings you up to our humble quarters at this late hour? Well, you see, I came to return this. Wait, what? That's that's mine. Oh my. However, did you? I told you, didn't I? I have a natural talent for it. Oh yes, I'd forgotten. Iris literally is a child genius. So anyway, here, you can have it back. Not that I really understand why you wear it, though. Ah, thank you. Alright then. Good night. Yes, good night. So this is your office, is it? What do you think, Ginny? I think I wouldn't fancy my chances with a lawyer what lives in a place like this. Yes, me too. It seems as though Iris here still has something she'd like to talk about. I suppose she probably wants to talk about the manuscript. Yes, I suppose she probably does. Iris, I suppose you're hoping to talk about the manuscript, aren't you? Aren't you aren't you going to tell me? I'm so sorry. I need a little more time. Please. Alright. I understand. I hope I haven't made you feel awkward. Oh, no, not at all, Iris. Not at all. I don't know what this is about, really, but it's a story you made up. Is it, Iris? This mental script or whatever you call it? It's it's not exactly a story I made up. It's something I read in Daddy's diaries. Daddy's? That's right. I don't suppose I've mentioned it to you before, Ginny, but my daddy was Hurley's assistant once, his partner. Uh, they solved all sorts of strange and mysterious cases together. Is that right, mister? Apparently so. I was as surprised as you are, though. And Daddy wrote all the details of every single case down, you see, in his diaries. So I study them and write my stories based on what actually happened. So, where's your old man now, then? He had to go away on urgent business to a faraway land, and he'll be gone a very long time. So I've never really met him. Oh, right. Come to think of it, I don't know anything about Gina's parents either. Perhaps we should ask her? I don't know if you want to do that, Ryunosuke. I do not know if you want to do that. The Hound of the Baskervilles. Iris, this Hound of the Baskervilles story, I take it that it's another tale inspired by your father's account? That's right. I thought it was fascinating. But it's different, somehow, from the other cases, I mean. Oh, how? I don't really know, but it must be special in some way. Because after I'd written it, and I showed the manuscript to Hurley, he turned as white as a sheet It was the first time I've ever seen him like that. It pains me to have to say this after you've toiled over it for so long, Iris. But this story must not be published at this time under any circumstances. But why not? It's one of my best works. I'm not at liberty to say, not now. So please don't ask me. Alright then, I won't. But I do solemnly swear that I will explain everything one day, Iris, when the time is right. And that's how the manuscript came to be with Mr. Windibank, isn't it? Yes. Hurley said it had to be somewhere very safe. That really gets my goat, that does. He's treating you like a child. It's mean, that's what it is. Keeping secrets like that. I'm sure Mr. Sholmes isn't trying to be mean. Eh? If he said he wasn't at liberty to talk about it, I'm sure there must have been a very good reason. I think so, too. You lot are too trustin' for your own good. But he can't pull the wool over my eyes. Sholmes is lying to Iris. I bet my life on it. What? Hurley's lying to me? Gina is here. We can talk to her then. I've realized I don't know anything about your parents, Gina. I ain't got any, have I? Never did, have. Never did have. Oh. Look, the East End's full of orphans like me. No one wants nothing to do with us. From the minute we're born, not even our mums. But we all stick together. The older ones look after the little ones and make sure they get by. So that's why you're a pickpocket. Nah, diving's my life. I love it. I get a kick out of every time I lift some pompous idiot's purse. And that's how we all afford to eat. I'm like Robin Hood, ain't I? That's how I see it. Oh, Gina. I do think about it sometimes. What it'd be like to have parents, I mean. I always thought it'd make everything right. But Avon listened to what Iris just said. It sounds like Avon parents ain't always easy either. Oh, I mean, if you never had 'em, you don't feel like you're always wanting to meet 'em. It's true. I do want to see Daddy so much. Oh, Iris. Sholmes's lie. Gina, what did you mean when you said that you know Mr. Sholmes is lying to Iris? Well, he reckons he popped that mantle script or whatever, right? But come on, that's obviously a load of rubbish. Oh my, why would you think that, Gina? It's simple. If that story was really in old Windabank's storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could know about it. Ah. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling ya. But Hurley would never do something like that. I'm sure of it. Ha! Grown-ups do a lot worse than that. Believe me. Barefaced liars. The lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. I'm telling ya, that mantle script ain't at Windabanks. You'd soon see if you had a look. Even if you think you can trust him, I don't. That Sholmes is a liar like the rest of them. If I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes. See? Oh, but I don't mean that I think he sold it. I mean that sometimes I wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere. Somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Don't be too hard on yourself, Iris. Oh my goodness, look at the time. Come along, Ginny. We should go back downstairs. Yeah, alright. And please, don't mention any of this to Hurley, will you? No, of course not. Good night then, Iris. Good night, Gina. You must let me make breakfast for you tomorrow morning. I insist. Oh, yes, please. I can't wait, Susie. Good night, then. Iris, it sure is easy to forget, isn't it? Sometimes she speaks just like an adult. But deep down, she's still just a child. Well, I think it's time that I turned in for the night, too. too, Naruhodo-san. Dr. John H. Wilson, Iris's father, but also the name of the murdered visiting professor at Yume University. It can't be a mere coincidence. There's something deeper going on. Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo. That voice. That's Mr. Sholmes. When it doesn't give me the name, it's hard to get it right. What's going on? It's the middle of the night. It's Miss Lestrade. She's gone. Gina? She was supposed to be sleeping in Iris's room, but her bed is empty. Well, she's an independent young woman. She probably decided to go home, no? I think not. From speaking to her before she retired, I received the distinct impression that she was looking forward to breakfasting with Miss Susato. No, I don't believe the girl has gone home, but I've been waiting for over an hour now. Over an hour? Oh. If you'll indulge me, look out of the window, my dear fellow. Oh, what's this about? Wait a minute. Why is there a light on at this time of night? That's Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery. Mr. Windibank's? Oh no. It's simple. If that story was really an old Windibank storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could know about it. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he's sold it. Without telling ya. Could Gina have gone? It seems you have some knowledge of the situation, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry, oh, no, not really. Well, anyway, we must investigate. At once. Miss Susato. 16th of April, 1:14 a.m., Baker Street. The door to Windibank's, it's open. Oh. Excuse me. And the lamp is burning. It must be Gina, mustn't it? Let us hope it's nothing more sinister. What? Come, there's not a moment to lose. Clearly, something's afoot inside. There's no one here. Oh, yes. There is. Ah, Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! What the? Has Sholmes been shot? Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo. But after them. Go. Right. Blast. I've lost them. Hello, hello, what have we here? The alarm was just raised from this pawnbroker, sir. Would you know something about that? Officer, come with me. It's my friend. He's been shot. Shot. With the policeman close behind me, I ran back to Windowbanks.
Mr. Sholmes!
Mr. Naruhodo!
How bad is it? Never mind me, but there's much at stake. Behind that door. In the storeroom. Hurry! It's Gina!
What? What? Oh no. Well, moving on to investigation part 3. Thing. I'll be alright, Mr. Naruhodo. After them. Go. Behind that door. In the storeroom. Hurry. It's Gina. From that moment, Windowbanks Pawnbrokery became a crime scene. Everything that followed happened in a whirlwind of activity. The arrival of the police, the preliminary investigation of the scene, and the questioning. It was just before dawn, before I was allowed back to my lodgings at 221B. 16th of April, 6:21 a.m., Naruhodo's legal consultancy. Oh, Iris. I'm gonna go refill my water really quick since we just got to the next part. So I'll be back in 1 minute. Sorry. Okay, I am back. Should be all set for at least another hour or so. Oh, Iris. A telegram came, but all it said was, wait at home. Oh, yes, we asked one of the policemen to have it sent. It was simply impossible to come back. When I woke up, I was all alone. Hurley and Ginny were gone. Everyone was gone. What happened, Runo? Poor Iris. She's trembling. She's obviously trying very hard not to let herself get too worried. I'll explain everything that I know. Something awful has happened, hasn't it? Yes, I'm afraid so. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Iris, but Mr. Windibank is dead. He was shot. We discovered it in the early hours of the morning. Oh, yes. I had a feeling. You did? Well, I saw all of those police carriages pulling up outside his shop. So I knew something must have happened there. When we entered Windibanks in the small hours, we disturbed a gang of 2 thugs. They ran out onto the street, and I chased after them, but they got away. So, it was one of them who shot old Mr. Windibank, I suppose. I don't know, but that's not what the police believe at the moment. Oh, why not? They've arrested someone else as their prime suspect, you see. Gina. Ginny, but, but why? Well, the thing is... No, Ginny would not do something like that. I know. None of us think she did it. Then why have they arrested her? I'm sorry, there was nothing I could do. I don't understand why they arrested Ginny. It's not fair. What about the 2 thugs that were at the scene? Why aren't they the prime suspects? After all, they shot Hurley dead, didn't they? No, no, I mean it. Mr. Sholmes isn't dead, Iris. This is all so horrible. The thing is, Mr. Windibank was found on the floor in the storeroom where he keeps all the deposited articles. And the storeroom door was locked from the inside. I see. But he was not alone in there. Gina was found next to him on the floor as well. Oh no. And according to detectives who investigated afterwards, don't tell me there was no one else in the room. Yes, exactly. How did you know? It's the only explanation. Yes, the only explanation indeed. What do you mean by that, Runo? Well, what can I say? I'm doomed if I agree. I'm doomed if I don't. Sholmes' situation. So, where's Hurley then? Is he still there, investigating this scene? He really ought to have some breakfast. It's not good for him to miss meals. I don't want to worry. I want you to worry, Iris, but I have some news about Mr. Sholmes. He was taken to the hospital this morning. What? Well, when we entered Windibanks, a gun was fired, and he took a bullet. Hurley was shot? No. No. It's all right. His life is not in danger. Really? Are you sure? Where is he? Which hospital? He's at St. Sinners. They're tending to him there. I must see him at once. I'm sorry, Iris, but you can't. Why not? That's not fair. I'm a family member. I should be allowed. No, I mean, nobody can see him at the moment. He's not allowed any visitors. They're preparing to operate, you see. To operate? Oh, poor Hurley. It was the two thugs who were in Mr. Windibank's shop. They shot Mr. Sholmes when we disturbed them, you see. It was pitch black inside the shop at the time. My mind went totally blank, I'm afraid. I just froze. After them. Go. After that, I ran out into the street, but well, they were long gone. I I shouldn't have hesitated. I'm so sorry. It's my fault. I let them get away. I think that's a very good thing. Sorry. Well, if you'd seen which way they went and chased after them, you might have been shot as well, Bruno. On top of everything else, I couldn't bear that. Oh, Iris. Where's Susie, Bruno? She's still at the police station. Oh, why? I expect she's still being questioned. The police said they wouldn't be finished for a while. Why aren't you there then? Well, I didn't get a good look at the criminals anyway, so they weren't questioning me for long. And Miss Susato stayed behind at the scene to tend to Mr. Sholmes, so they didn't get started until later. I see. Besides, one of us had to come back to be with you, Iris. I'm glad Inspector Gregson agreed to me leaving early. You should have let me know, and I would have come to the station. I'm afraid I'll need to go out again now, Iris. There's not much I can do at the moment, but I can at least try to find out how Mr. Sholmes and Gina are getting on. I want to go too. Take me with you, Bruno. I can't just sit around waiting here. I'm not sure how I feel about taking a 10-year-old child to the scene of a murder, but I don't want to leave her all alone here either. Alright then, Iris. Perhaps you can help me? Oh, yes. I'd love to. Gina's at the prison. Mr. Sholmes is probably in his hospital bed. And don't forget, we have to visit the crime scene. We need to conduct a thorough investigation. Ah, I can see you're ready for action. I imagine Iris would appreciate going to the hospital sooner rather than later. New location has been added. Don't forget to take me with you when you go. I guess it's like this is just because I saw an achievement that I want to examine the fireplace at like every opportunity. The fire's burning comfortingly in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow. Hurley's been working on his disguises recently. He's been dressing as a woman, mainly. Really, Mr. Sholmes dresses in women's clothes? Yes, you see the lady in that photographic print on the mantelpiece? That's Hurley. He's quite stunning. Okay. That was worth. That's some valuable information right there. "16th of April, St. Sinners Hospital, Ward 3. Hurley. Oh. He's not here. No, that's strange. The nurse definitely said he was in the bed by the window, didn't she? Oh, I know what's probably happened. Hurley was being a big baby, and the bullet wound wasn't that bad after all, so he's been sent home. I'm not so sure about that. Baby or not, there's no question that it was a fairly serious injury that Mr. Sholmes suffered. Oh. Hello, what are we here? This ward is off limits. No visiting. So what are you doing in here, eh? Well, I'll have you know, we're Hurley's next of kin. Oh. Well, begging your pardon then, ma'am, sir? A little lady and a curious Eastern gent. The great mystery solvers as a mysterious family, eh? If that's how you see us, sure. Where is he, Constable? Where's Hurley? I believe he's currently in the operating theater, ma'am, undergoing an extensive operation. Extensive? It has been several hours since you went in. Oh dear, is he going to be alright? Well, it doesn't appear to be working, you see. The anesthetic, that is. Oh, I've heard a report. The gentleman claims he may have had a little too much to drink last night. Coffee, that is. Anyway, I think it'd be fair to assume that he won't be back here for several hours yet. I see. Thank you, Constable. Perhaps we should leave and come back later. Oh, poor Hurley. I can't look at it. Well, I guess we're out of here. On to the prison to talk to Gina. 16th of April. Local prison, cell 13. Hello, Gina. They let her keep the smoke grenade launcher. Oh, you still have the grenade launcher Hurley and I made. I wish he wouldn't point it at me all the time, though. What are you here for? Ginny. I have a feeling it's because of us that you ended up in trouble. So we were thinking we might be able to help you. Well, you can't. Sorry? You are. Get lost. Don't be like that, Ginny. I know you didn't do it. You'd never shoot someone. I just know you wouldn't. You think you know me. Pull the other one. Oh. You ain't got the first idea about the likes of me. I'm a thief. I pinch people's purses when they're walking down the street. That's how I get by. And if I saw me chance, I'd sneak into a pawn shop any day of the week. Just to see what I could lay me hands on. Get it? That's the kind of person I am. But, Ginny, I'll be in court tomorrow, they said. They said. Some cove came by before, said he'd be a lawyer for me or like, said it was my right or something. But I told him to get stuffed. I don't need no lawyer. I don't need no one. She couldn't be staring at me more obviously if she tried. Why are you being like this, Ginny? I don't understand, Gina. Why did you send the public defender away? You wanted me to sign some papers, representation papers or something like that. It's all gonna be rigged anyway. The whole trial. They'll pin it on me 'cause I'm a kid. That's what grown-ups always do. Why do you think that? 'Cause that's all it's always been for me. Growing up on the back slums, me whole life. If you do what the grown-ups tell ya, it'll get your mates dragged off by the coppers. Or worse. I've had it happen to me before and all. Been sold out, nearly snaffled on the back of it. You can't trust no one. That's the point. Soon as you do, you're gone to grass. Dead. Gina, listen. If you like, in tomorrow's trial, I could forget it. Ginny, don't you trust Runo? Nah, I don't. Look, I'll ask you nicely now. Just leave me alone. Will you tell us what happened, Gina? Last night at the pawnbroker's. There's nothing to tell. I figured it'd pay me, so I broke into the place and started going through the storeroom. But the old bloke walked in on me, and you know the rest. But why, Ginny? Why would you do that? Ain't it obvious? The place is full of stuff I could sell for a shilling or two. Diving ain't easy, you know. It's lots of work, and half the time you don't even get nothing. Is that really why you broke into the place? What? Are you sure the true reason wasn't something else? Oh, give it a rest. What'd be the point anyway, eh? Nothing I could say would make a blind bit of difference. Please tell us, Ginny. We'll believe you, whatever it is. Believe me? Don't be daft. You can't believe nothing. Everyone lies all the time. And you know what? When it comes to liars, I'm the biggest of the lot. I've told some unforgivable lies, I have. What do you mean by that? What unforgivable lies? What did you mean before, Gina, when you said you were the biggest liar of the lot? Why don't you tell us what these unforgivable lies you've told are? Maybe we can help? Sorry. We're out of time. They're gonna want to question me now. Jenny, please. Oh, yeah. I wanted to give you this. Something to remember me by. A photographic print of a really adorable cat. I found it in one of the pockets of this coat. Ain't no point in me having it. I wonder what a little photograph like that was doing in the pocket of that overcoat. I just noticed she has really cute little charms on her backpack. Oh, those are awesome, actually. Anyway, don't bother coming again. Bye. Oh, Ginny. The white cat photograph has been entered into the court record. I gotta take a look at this. There's a lot of writing on the back. But this isn't an adorable little cat. I think it looks a little like Wagahai. I always thought that cats liked to curl up inside under the heated kotatsu blanket when it snowed. Maybe British cats are different? Now what is this? Look on the back of this print here. There's something written on it. 13th of February, 9 p.m. Article deposited. 1 small box. Loan amount paid 10 shillings. Redemption deadline 13th of April, 9 p.m. So this photographic print is a redemption ticket. 13th of February. That could be significant. It was just 2 days before the murder on the omnibus, wasn't it? A small box. That doesn't tell us much about it. does it? Reno, if Mr. McGilded still had the ticket, then presumably he never redeemed the article. So do you think the box might still be present somewhere in the shop? Oh, yes. If it's something McGilded deposited, we need to investigate. Pawnbroker's ticket box. Alright, Gina, I'll be back. I'm sure I'm gonna be defending you. There's no way not. "16th of April. Windibanks Pawnbrokery." This is where it happened then. Last night. That's right. The two thugs I told you about were obviously ransacking the place looking for valuables. But apart from the policeman in here, you wouldn't know anything had happened. There's no sign of a disturbance. No, you're right about that, actually. In fact, if anyone, it seems the police... It seems... wait, sorry. My reading comprehension failed me for a second. In fact, if anyone, it's the police who seem to be the ones doing the ransacking. I know what you mean. They're like a gang of organized criminals all dressed in black. Oi! I heard that. Oh, it's Gregson. Oh, Inspector. Good morning? I suppose I ought to thank you for your vigilance last night. We got to the scene before it was disturbed, at least. Shame you let the two rogues get away, mind. Yes, I'm sorry about that. I thought you'd assigned extra men to the beat around here, Gregsy. Now look what's happened. Hurley's been injured because there weren't enough police on duty. Your ladyship. No one told me you were coming. I expect you to take full responsibility for what happened to Hurley and see he has the very best medical care. Of course, your ladyship. The very best doctors in the capital are attending to him as we speak. And I don't think it's Runo's fault that the rogues managed to get away, is it? Chasing criminals is the police's job. Absolutely, your ladyship. As you say, ma'am, as you say. The gent in black is totally blameless. Everyone's in agreement about that. Would you believe it? He's like a completely different person with Iris. Talk about a personality change. Oh, where are me manners? Are you thirsty, your ladyship? Perhaps you'd like some juice? Something nice, refreshing. I can't do it. I can't. No, there's no way. How am I supposed to take that line seriously? It's just... no, I don't even know how to read this with this voice. What do I even do? There's no way. Oh no. Perhaps you'd like some juice? Some nice, refreshing fruit juice? Oh, why? Are you thirsty, Gregsy? I have some of my special herbal tea with me, if you'd like some. Ah, lovely. Ta very much. That really hits the spot, your ladyship. I don't even recognize him like this. The investigation. So, how is the investigation going, Inspector? Nothing to it, really. Very simple case, this. There's some very definitive evidence. We're just about to charge that diver we arrested last night, in fact. Gina, you're going to charge her. That's right. Should be able to bring her before the judge at the Bailey tomorrow. Definitive evidence, you say? What is it? Come on, show me. Your ladyship, as much as I would wish I could oblige you, I'm afraid. Ah, I see. You've already captured the pair of thugs who broke in here last night, have you? What the? And you're going to put them on the stand as witnesses, are you? How? How could you? How? How could you possibly know that? I had a feeling. That's all. Remind me to never try to keep a secret from Iris. So you've arrested the two men who shot Mr. Sholmes, have you? Well, yes. They were rounded up pretty quickly by the lads on the beat. And Miss Lestrade is being held at the prison? She should be. That's assuming she hasn't lifted the key from the jailer, of course. Can you tell us anything about Mr. Sholmes? What's his condition? Sorry, I'm not at liberty to divulge that information. Scotland Yard matters are strictly confidential. Well, I know he's being operated on at St. Sinners. Why can't I see him? I'm family, you know. I'm terribly sorry, your ladyship. It's the hospital's policy. No visit, not at all. Oh. The bullet must have hit an artery in his midriff. He's lost a fair bit of blood. Oh no. He didn't seem too bad in the first hour or so. but a hemorrhage like that is enough to make even the one and only Sholmes pipe down. Mr. Sholmes is a human like the rest of us, you know? Well, anyway, he's having emergency surgery right now. They've got to stop that bleeding. But he will be alright, won't he? They'll be able to make him better. Of course, your ladyship. He'll be right as rain before you know it. Really? How do you know? How do I know? Well, because, of course. Ah, yes. Because Mr. Sholmes is such a great detective. That's why. We'd better pray the doctors have a better grasp of what's needed to make someone well again. Oh dear. Please, don't die, Hurley. I'll report to your ladyship the moment I hear he's out of the operating theater. I couldn't help noticing, Inspector. What? Out with it, sunshine. Well, there seems to be a marked difference between the way you talk to me and Iris. Watch the sauce, Sonny. I'm a copper, and we don't go in for favoritism. But he is right. You do treat us differently. It's 'cause of those adventures of Sherlock Sholmes stories. That's why. Oh? I crop up in 'em, don't I? Inspector Tobias Gregson. Oh, well, yes. Because you're an acquaintance of Hurley's. What did you write about the inspector, Iris? I don't remember. Really? It was one of Sholmes's lines. Gregson is the smartest of the Scotland Yarders, is how he put it. Oh, did I write that? And you know what that one line did for me, eh? The very next month, my pay doubled. Doubled, I tell ya. Oh, that's amazing. All because everyone at the yard reads them. They read all the Sherlock Sholmes stories. They've even set up a fan club for me. Of course. That explains everything. It was around that time that you became such a toady to me. Can you blame me? All it'd take is one bad word from you and Sholmes could change his tune about me. Gregson? No, the great detective will say. He's getting quite overrated these days. Think what would happen to my salary if that came out in print, eh? The whole thing gives me the willies. I can't tell ya how many nights of sleep I've lost worrying about it. But that would never happen, Gregsy. Every month, when the new Ranched magazine comes out, my hands are trembling as I turn the pages. Oh, how awful for you. Here, have some of my tea to settle your nerves. Ah, lovely. ta very much. Thank you, that really hit the spot, your ladyship. Teetotal. Oh, yeah. There's something I was supposed to talk to you about, actually, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, what is it? I've got an important message for you. I clean forgot about it till now. An important message? I wonder what it could be. Are you going to tell me what the important message is then, Inspector? Yeah, it's about the young lady who's normally by your side. Your assistant. Dear Susie, is she alright? She's at the station, isn't she? Being questioned, I believe? Nope, not anymore. She had to head off. Head off where? To Lord Strongheart's office, of course. He summoned her. Ah, yes, of course. I'd forgotten about that. One of the whipstocks took her there in a yard carriage after we'd finished questioning her. But she asked us to tell you she didn't have the fare for the return journey and to go meet her there. She's got a nerve using Scotland Yard as a bloomin' messaging service. I see. Well, thank you for passing that on, Inspector. Why did Susie have to go and see the Lord Chief Justice? She didn't tell me. I'd better head over to the Lord Chief Justice's office to fetch her straight away. No, we're looking around the crime scene first. You can't stop me. Alright then, let's see what we can uncover. Oi, what do you think you're doing, Sunshine? You can't touch anything here. Oh, but we were hoping to investigate? This is a crime scene, for Pete's sake. No touching. What's the problem, Gregsy? Reno's a lawyer. You know that. Oh, I'm ever so sorry, your ladyship. Ever so sorry. The rules and regulations are a thorn in my side. Of course, if Mr. Naruhodo was to have been properly appointed by the accused, that'd be another matter. The accused. If you could show me some representation papers, I'd be only too happy to let you nose around. Did you hear that, Reno? You need Ginny to sign some representation papers. It looks like presenting the detective here with the correct paperwork is the only way. Well, then I guess we'd better pick up Susato-san from the Lord Chief Justice's office. And then we'll head back to Gina. 16th of April, British Supreme Court, London Chief Justice's office. His office is so awesome. Yes. No matter how many times I come here, I always get the same sense of oppressiveness, somehow. Do you think this place is oppressive? I think it's normal. How so? I mean, look at that suit of armor over there. You can't take that seriously, can you? Maybe it thinks the same way about you? So everything is clear with regard to tomorrow's arrangements, I trust? Yes, thank you very much. There they are, Susato-san and Lord Strongheart. I wonder what they're talking about. They both look very serious. Very good. There's nothing further to discuss. You may return to your lodgings. No doubt you have much to do in preparation for your return to your homeland. Wait, what did he just say? Your return to your homeland? Susato-san. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. What was all that about? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you for coming to collect your colleague. What's this all about? Why were you talking about Miss Susato's return to her homeland? And tomorrow. Tomorrow. But what about Ginny's trial? You mean she's been formally charged now? Oh dear. What's going on here, Susato? Miss Susato, what's all this about? Oh, please, don't concern yourself, Mr. Naruhodo. It's only me going back to Japan. Your life here can continue just as it... That's not what I asked. What happened? Why are you leaving? It's my father. He's fallen ill. Oh no. Professor Mikotoba? If I may? Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant, Rinosuke Naruhodo, I believe? Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba. I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Yume University. His voice sounds a bit like Gregson's. I can't remember his voice, it's been so long. We received an international telegram from the Empire of Japan informing us of the news. 10 days ago, Father collapsed with a fever. The cause is apparently unknown, and it seems he grows weaker day by day. I don't believe it. As you are aware, the voyage here to your country's capital, Tokyo, takes some 50 days. I thought it would be prudent to hasten Miss Susato's departure as much as possible. Yes, absolutely. I will leave London first thing tomorrow morning. I can't believe this is happening. So, Gina has been charged. She'll have to appear in court. Yes, she was formally charged a few hours ago, and the date of the trial has already been set for tomorrow. No, not even 24 hours later. Gina, the Lestrade girl, and the murder of the Baker Street pawnbroker. Yes. An all too transpicious case. The pickpocket was clearly disturbed mid-robbery and shot the man in a panic. No, the yard is overstretched as it is. Without wasting time on these open and shut cases. It's not wasting time. Ginny would never do something like that. Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, Lord Strongheart? In deference of your fine services to date, I shall overlook this young girl's insolence. But I have no recollection of admitting a child into my office. Leave. Now. Of course, Lord Strongheart. Criminals will tell the most palpable lies in order to evade justice. The police can ill afford the time it takes to unravel all their untruths. Meanwhile, more crimes are perpetrated. We have far more serious matters with which to contend. Serious matters? Didn't Gregson mention something like that yesterday? Yes, Inspector Gregson made a similar remark yesterday. It's no concern of yours, though I'm sure I need not remind you of that. "3 minutes, precisely, until my next meeting. You must excuse me." There's just one more thing, Lord Strongheart, which is... it's Miss Lestrade's trial. I wonder if you might permit me to defend her? A timely suggestion? Sorry. The girl currently has no representation. But, that's not fair. Yes, she may be a pickpocket. Okay, sorry. Let me retry that one. Yes, she may be a pickpocket, but she still deserves a fair trial. Do not misunderstand me, young lady. The government provides for those too poor to afford representation with a public defender. The accused need only sign the relevant paperwork, and a defense barrister will be assigned to the case. However, the young girl in question has refused that right. Why would she do that? A question you would do well to direct at Miss Lestrade. You'll find her at the local prison. Yes, thank you. Now then, it is time. I was leaving. Good day to you. Ugh, his voice is rough for me to do. What a day. Gina charged with murder. Susato-san about to leave. Come, Mr. Naruhodo, Iris. We must make haste. But, Susie, you're leaving for Japan tomorrow morning, aren't you? Don't you have packing and things to do? As Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, my personal circumstances are of no consequence. My sole purpose remains to help you in whatever way I can. Thank you, Miss Susato. That's a very pensive look. I think we ought to visit Gina first. In any case, I should like to wish her well before I leave. Yes, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go. If I'm honest, this has completely thrown me off. I'll just have to do what I can as a lawyer. Back to prison we go. 16th of April, local prison, cell 13. Ah. Hello again, Gina. They let her keep the gun in prison. What are you lot here for now? To have the muzzle of that grenade launcher shoved in our faces yet again, obviously. I think I need to improve the way you load ammunition into that thing, don't I? Look. You can come as many times as you like, but I ain't got nothing more to say to you. Gina, I wonder if you might hear me out. There's something I'd like to say. What? I'm sorry to say that I must reluctantly bid you farewell. Hey, farewell. Tomorrow, I must begin my journey back home to Japan. I fear we may never meet again. Oh, right. I've had the pleasure of meeting so many wonderful people here in London. I have so many wonderful memories. And yet, as things stand now, it will be a glum parting indeed. Poor Iris is so miserable. Susie. Well, well, that ain't my business. Both Iris and Mr. Naruhodo believe you to be innocent, Gina. They've put their faith in you. But somehow, you can't find it in your heart to put your faith in them. Yeah, that's right. I can't. What of it? It grieves me greatly to have to say goodbye to my friends when they are all so clearly unhappy. Because of you. Oh, what? It's my fault. Yes, so I have one final request, Gina, before our paths never cross again. Right here and now, I want you to show both of them that you don't deserve the faith they've invested in you. Eh? Only by doing that will you truly be as alone as you claim to be. What are you talking about? What do you expect me to do, eh? You've told us that everyone lies. So prove it by admitting to one of your own untruths. What about what you said before, Ginny? You said something about unforgivable lies. You must tell Mr. Naruhodo and Iris the truth now. That is my last request before I leave. My request as a judicial assistant. No, I can't. Whatever these lies are, they're obviously weighing very heavily on Gina's mind. Gina, I could be wrong, but is this something to do with what happened 2 months ago? Something about that trial? The one in which Magnus McGilded was acquitted. Ah. The case of that mysterious murder that took place inside the omnibus. You were called as a witness by the prosecution. Is that what this is about? Yeah, you're right. Because in that trial, I lied. I lied like you wouldn't believe. Will you tell us about it now? Like you said, it all happened 2 months ago. The coppers got old of me and shoved me in the witness stand. And based on your testimony, McGilded was declared innocent. Yeah, well, the thing is, I lied about a whole bunch of the stuff. I knew it. What sort of thing did you lie about? I was hiding under the seat that night. That was the truth. It was pitch black in that little cubbyhole, and I couldn't see a thing. And then I heard that loud thud, like someone falling on the floor. And that's when Mr. McGilded discovered you? Yeah. He pulled me out from under the seat and sat me next to the dead man. There weren't much light to see by. But when I looked at me hands, I had the cove's blood all over 'em. I was so scared. I couldn't even speak. You had his blood on your hands. In other words, it was Gina that the witnesses on the roof deck saw through the skylight. Then Mr. McGilded started asking you questions, I suppose. Who you were, why you were hiding under the seat. Yeah, he did. Only, that's not all. What do you mean? I mean, he threatened me. But threatened you how? He made me swear about what I'd seen, about what I'd heard, and about what he was gonna do after the cove was found dead. He made me swear I wouldn't tell no one about any of it. If I did that, he said he'd let me Scarper before the coppers showed up. Gina, you must tell me what he swore you to secrecy about. What you saw, what you heard, everything. You said Mr. McGilded made you swear not to tell anybody what you saw. But you were in the pitch black compartment under the seat the whole time, weren't you? Yes, with Mr. McGilded sitting above your head, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's true, but it was when I heard the thud of the cove in the floor, I let out a little scream. See, I couldn't help it. McGilded heard that and dragged me out by the arm. That's when I saw it. It was on the floor, next to the old geezer what had been stabbed. A disc, all bright and shiny. A disc? Do you mean? Yeah, that's it. The one what the deed took off me at the Windibanks. At Windibanks. So the music box disc was there on the floor of the omnibus? Not for long. McGilded spotted it straight away. He picked it up smartish and stuffed it inside his pocket. His inside pocket. So, that disc was in the omnibus 2 months ago, at the scene of Mr. Mason's murder. And before, and the bog trotter told me, I weren't to mutter a word of it to no one. What you heard. Because it was so dark in that seat, under that seat in the cab. I was straining my ears the whole time. After a while, I heard the door and footsteps inside the cabin. Presumably that was McGilded getting on board. Nah, not only him. Oh. 'Cause I could definitely make out the footsteps of two people. In that case, it would seem likely that it was Mr. McGilded and the victim. Mr. Thrice fired Mason. In his testimony during the trial, Mr. McGilded claimed he slept during the carriage ride. But whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it. And your own testimony, Gina, supported his. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Yeah, that weren't exactly true. Neither of them was asleep. I could hear them talking the whole time in low voices. What? What were they talking about? Sorry, I don't know. The sound of the horses and the wheels was too loud. But that still tells us something. Mr. McGilded and the victim knew each other. So, McGilded was lying as I suspected. After the event, excuse me, I knew it weren't gonna take long before someone raised the alarm that the bloke had been killed. Yes, you were quite right. The other passengers on the roof deck noticed very quickly. So, when the cab came to a stop, McGilded told me to hide under the back seat again. I climbed in and waited. The two coves from up top ran off to get the coppers. Yes, Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First. Right. And after they'd gone, McGilded asked the driver to do him a favor. A favor? Now then, fella, what I need you to do is take this coat of mine and deposit it with a nearby pawnbroker. And for your troubles, let's see now. I'll give you 10 guineas. A nearby pawnbroker? You mean on Baker Street? Yep, you got it. It was Windibanks. The coachie snapped up the money and ran off to pop this coat as fast he could. So then there was no one left in the carriage. McGilded opened the box under the seat and let me get out of there. But not without conditions. I see. McGilded's conditions. What were McGilded's conditions then? For letting you go free, I mean. not telling a soul. Not for anything about what I saw, about what I heard. And there was something else as well. There's more. Yeah, this is the most important thing, he said. I'm after sending the coachman on a little errand for me, with some small change in his hand. Now then, did you hear what I asked of him? Did you see anything at all? At all? You asked him to go pop your weasel, right? Aye. The fiend's taken me overcoat to deposit with a pawnbroker hereabouts. And I want you, lass, to take the redemption ticket for it. D'ye understand? What? You want me to have the ticket? That's right. And I'll come fetch it from you later. Sometime within the next 2 months. You're to hang on to it until then. Is that clear? And whatever you do, don't lose it. All right then. And in case I might happen to be delayed at all, you're to go to the pawn shop, Windibanks, so it is, and you're to extend the loan before the 2 months is up. If you forget, the article will be forfeited, and any old fiend could come along and buy it. But I ain't got that kind of brass. Here's £5. That should be enough. Do we understand each other, lass? Don't try anything funny now. If you go against me... Yeah, I get it. Good. And one more thing. In a few days from now, you'll be visited by the police, I've no doubt. The coppers? Aye. They'll come asking you to take the stand in court to testify as a witness. So let's just have a wee chat about that, shall we? What it is that you might say, and what it is you won't. After he'd gone over it all, I piked it. Got as far away from there as I could. He hid the pawnbroker's ticket in some bushes near the scene. I went to fetch it the next day once it got dark. So, McGilded planned it. And forced Gina into giving false testimony. I bet you're ready to string me up, eh? I lied. In that big old courtroom, I told some corkers. The thing is, he said he would make it, so he couldn't live in the East End no more. That's what he threatened me with. What a wicked man. He knew everything what went on in the back slums. He knew he had no one to look after us. And we was all just looking out for each other, getting by together. So, you mean Mr. McGilded would've... In an heartbeat, he could've had the lot of us chased out of there if he'd wanted? And then, where could we have gone? Eh? Nowhere. That's where. So, I didn't have no choice. Thank you, Gina, for telling us everything. But I'm for it now, eh? Go on, admit it. You must be livid. Well, you can make amends by doing me a simple favor. A favor? What? Sign the representation papers for tomorrow's trial. Eh? Eh? If you don't actually want me to represent you in court, you can rip it up later. But we need that paperwork or we can't investigate. The police won't let us. Investigate what? The scene of the incident last night. Mr. Sholmes was shot, you see. You what? Hurley's having a big operation right now, Ginny. Is it bad? Is he gonna be alright? Sholmes is gonna be alright. Right? That's why I want to investigate. For Mr. Sholmes' sake as much as anything. Right. So what you're saying is, if I sign that bit of paper, everyone's happy, is that it? Something like that. Miss Susato? Yes, of course. I have the representation papers here. I don't need no one to stick up for me. Though, no lawyer or nothing. Poor Ginny. She seems so lonely. Gina's representation papers have been entered into the court record. Well, at least this should mean we can investigate the scene at Windibanks now. Yes, and perhaps we can come back to visit Ginny when we're done there. I feel like we finally cracked Gina. She's opened up to us at last. And now I have her representation papers. No one else knows just what a responsibility that is. Anyway, for now it means Inspector Gregson can't stop us from investigating at Windibanks. Although, something tells me he's not going to be happy about it. Dang it. Why is that the end of the part? See, I have a feeling this might be the longest part of the investigation. Because looking around Windibanks is surely going to take a while. Because we're gonna have to find that thing on the ticket. The small box that's hopefully still for sale. Unless one of those thugs poached it. Because there's a chance they would have known what they were looking for. Yeah, I think I probably am gonna call it here for tonight just so I'm not up way too late. but I'm guessing this will be the last part of the investigation, but I also think it'll be the longest part. So I think we'll call it for now. And but yeah, so thanks to everyone who is spending some time watching me play this game more tonight. I hope it feels like it's really ramping up. We're finally gonna get into. It feels like we're finally gonna start getting into what happened to McGilded, which I feel like is going to be kind of insane. So, lots to look forward to. But yeah, my schedule for next week should go up sometime within the next day. Probably. We'll see. And yeah, so keep an eye out for that on Twitter if you want. And otherwise, the next time I should be streaming is Wednesday. I was thinking about streaming Tuesday, so there's a chance I might do that anyway. I'll think on that a bit more. Because I'll have a lot to do in Final Fantasy on Tuesday to prep for Savage. So, we'll see what I decide to do. But yeah, thanks again, everyone. And I'll see you for sure on Wednesday sometime.